What's up, peeps? It's me. I'm back. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody is being smart, and I hope everybody is staying safe. Most importantly, I hope everybody is going within. I hope everybody is going within so that you can get to know who you really are, because that is of the utmost importance right now, is that you go within. Because of the time that we're in, because of the year that is going out, and the new year that is being ushered in, because of the energy, that the new energy that's coming forth in the earth, in this realm. Everybody needs to be going within, and everybody needs to be learning who they are and finding out what your soul's purpose is. The real reason why you are here in this realm, in this physical realm, in this physical body right now, right? Okay, but let's get into this, because as I'm sure you can see on the title, I want to talk about Christmas, the winter solstice, the whole 9 yards, because it's time for us to break out of the illusions, break out of the traps, break out of the programming, break free from the lies. Because I heard Matt Talbot, and as you guys know, I have put some of his videos down and linked his videos in a couple of my description boxes. But I heard Matt Talbot say something yesterday in a video that was very, very, very true. And what he said is, you don't believe the truth. That's not the way that thing goes down. We don't believe the truth. The way it goes down is, we know the truth. We believe the lie. So when you're trapped up and caught up in the matrix and caught up in the programming and all of that, you allow yourself to be tricked. In some cases, you don't know. Because you haven't been awakened to the truth. You haven't been awakened to what's really going on. So you believe the lie. But once you've been awakened, once your eyes have been opened, once certain things in your brain and in your body have been triggered, once your third eye has been opened, or it's peeping open, it's blinking or whatever, then you can no longer just sit back and believe the lie. You get to that point where you know the truth. Once you go into yourself and you are willing to go into yourself, you are willing to go in to do that shadow work that needs to be done. I just put up a video about shadow work and the shadow self. Once you are willing and you are ready to go in and take responsibility and say, okay, I'm going to stop looking outside. I'm going to stop looking at all these external forces and all of that. And I'm going to go inside and I'm going to see what's really going on with me. And I'm going to take responsibility for my life, my decisions. And you set aside that victim mentality. You know the truth, right? So that's where we are now. We're in that place where all of these lies, all of this programming, all of these illusions, because that's what an illusion is. An illusion is a trick of the perception. It's a trick of the eyes. It's a trick of the ears that's meant to deceive you. It's meant to make you believe that something is real and that something is true that's not. So right now, today, on this video, we're going to kill this illusion. We're going to completely destroy this illusion and this lie about December the 25th. And it being the birthday of Jesus Christ, the Messiah, whatever name, Yeshua, whatever name you want to give to that particular energy. Because that's what that was. That was energy reincarnated or incarnated in this earth. We're gonna kill and destroy and just break down that whole entire lie that December the 25th was his birthday, and that during this season, they call it the holiday season, Christmas, we are celebrating his birth, because that is not at all what's going on, right? And we're gonna do it based on fact. Not based on fiction, not based on what Kim thinks, not based on what so and so, but we're going to do it based on fact. Okay? So that's the purpose. That's the first purpose. The second purpose is to make you aware of what's really going on and how that can affect you spiritually and energetically. How that can affect your spirit being and how it can affect your energy. What's really going on December the 25th, right? That whole 2 or 3 days right there, right before December the 25th and usually right after December the 25th. So, but the only way that you can know how it will affect you spiritually and how it will affect you energetically is you have to know the truth. You have to know what that day really symbolizes. You have to know what's really going on in the atmosphere, in the cosmos, in the universe, around, in nature, around you during that day and leading up to that day. So that's what we're going to get into today. So let's get right on into this. All right, let me get my screen up here so we can break down some stuff and we can talk about this thing. All right, now, I will leave these articles that I'm reading from and this information that I'm reading from, I will leave the links to this stuff in the description box. But then you can read these, but then you can also go back and do some of your own research and you know, and find some of your own articles or some more information as far as Christmas and the winter solstice and all of that is concerned. Okay, but the first one I want to read from is The Seasonal Soul. And it's theseasonalsoul.com, and it talks about the spiritual meaning of the winter solstice, right? Because that's what this time frame that everybody's talking about, this season where we're celebrating the birth of Christ and all of that. That's what it's really all about. It's about the winter solstice, right? And it's about what the winter solstice means, and it's about pagan traditions and pagan beliefs surrounding the winter solstice. Okay? So here we go. The spiritual meaning of the winter solstice. The winter solstice arrives in the northern hemisphere on December the 21st. It is the shortest day of the year and a very powerful time on the wheel of the year. Here's a closer look at what we're celebrating on this meaningful seasonal day and how its energy influences you on a deeper level. So there is an energy attached to this time frame, to this season. There is a very real energy attached to it. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the birth of Jesus. It's because there is a cosmic natural phenomenon that takes place. And anytime there's a cosmic natural phenomenon that takes place, anything that has to do with anything that's happening in the universe, there's going to be energy surrounding it. But if you've been programmed to think that it's just about the birth of Jesus, you understand what I'm saying? And all the religious stuff that goes behind it, you'll miss what's really meant for you to get. And that's for you to tap into this energy that's released during this time. Okay? Let's go on. What are we celebrating on the winter solstice? The birth of the sun. The winter solstice is the moment the sun is born again. Right? And I want you to think of what they say Jesus said when he said that you have to be born again in order for you to see, or in order for you to be able to enter the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God. You have to be born again. And he said it's not like you going back in your mom's, because Nicodemus asked him, well, how does a grown man, how does a full grown human being go back back into their mother's womb to be born again. And Jesus said, no, 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 no. I'm not talking about being born of the flesh. He said, I'm talking about being born of the Spirit. Being born energetically. Spiritually, you are being born again. Right? Okay. And this is where that comes from. The birth of the sun. The winter solstice is the moment the sun is born again. Ever since last year's winter solstice, the sun has grown from birth to its height at the summer solstice, then declined through autumn until its light finally died on the darkest night, when simultaneously it is born again and a new cycle of life for the sun begins. At the winter solstice, we celebrate the magnificent sun. Not sun, S-O-N, but sun, S-U-N. That on the darkest night, it is born again, bringing a new year of life and growth with it. Now, this is written beautifully. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but it's written very beautifully. The return of the light. What a miracle that on this shortest day, when it feels like we could just descend completely into darkness, the light returns with the birth of the sun. For 6 months, the days have been getting shorter as the darkness grew. But on the winter solstice, the light returns. From here, the days will continue to grow longer, brighter, warmer, until the sun is strong enough to return life to everything in nature. At the winter solstice, we celebrate this tiny new light. We celebrate the hope it brings, knowing it will continue to grow and deliver us from the cold, dark days. We celebrate the potential this tiny light holds. Anything is possible in the coming months. What new life will this tiny light grow? Okay, we're going to go down a little bit, and it says, what is the spiritual significance of the winter solstice? There's a very special stillness about the season we are entering. Even though everything appears dead and frozen in the outside world, a new cycle is beginning. It's a new year. Right? So, they don't mean a new year as far as a new calendar year, but it's a new beginning because the sun is being reborn. And with the newness of this new sun, then this starts a new cycle of life. It starts a new cycle of birth. Whereas the sun gets stronger, the rays of the sun causes the snow to melt and causes things to spring up and causes things to come to life, and the trees start budding and the bees start pollinating, and all of this kind of stuff happens, right? And it actually all begins with the winter solstice and the rebirth of the sun, right? You can sense there is magic brewing deep down in the dark, just like the spark of new life that appears deep in a mother's womb. You can sense a quiet spark occurring within. It's a new chapter, a fresh start. The winter solstice is the beginning of a new chapter in your life. It is a new cycle of birth, growth, death, in everything in nature. What will come to life for you this year? Talking about the new year that's coming. What will you nurture and grow? What harvest will your work yield in the coming year? So this is like the universe giving us that last chance to transform, to be reborn. You understand what I'm saying? To shed and get rid of all those old energies and all of that old stuff that we want to pass away. It's like the universe is giving us this last chance during this winter solstice to rid ourselves and shed ourselves of all that old stuff so that we can prepare for this new cycle, so that we can prepare to be reborn like the sun. Right? Let's go on. knows? We can't know. But there is so much hope and anticipation contained in the possibility of what those might be. Often, this promise of a new beginning has us feeling inspired to set goals for ourselves and make promises about all the things we're going to do in the new year, changes we're going to make. But it's actually important you don't put that kind of pressure on yourself right now. So right now, at the end of this year, instead of you putting the pressure on yourself about what you're going to do next year and setting all these goals and all these things that you want to achieve and all of that, that's not what you need to be doing right now. Hopefully throughout this year, throughout 2023, you have been sowing seeds. You have been working towards certain goals. You have been working towards certain manifestations and all of that. And you've been making the necessary changes from within. And you've been making the necessary changes in your life all through 2023. So now that you're coming to the end of 2023 and you're in December and you're getting ready for this winter solstice, now this is not a time for a whole lot of action. What this is saying is, but it's actually important you don't put that kind of pressure on yourself right now. This is not a time for action. This is a time for deep rest. Setting New Year's resolutions based on actions we want to take in our lives is too much pressure right now. We're not meant to be accomplishing active goals right now. Our job in winter is to rest. Now just listen to what it's saying. This is the season for deep rest. Winter is meant to be a deeply nourishing time in your life. It's meant to nurture you and restore you. It's meant to ground you and to calm your nervous system, worn out from a long, hard year of life, growth, and challenges. I realize most of us don't have the luxury of just hibernating over winter like we should. The ability to truly rest is a privilege, one that too many of us don't have. Winter is asking you, can you lean into rest whenever you are able? Even if you don't have the privilege of an abundance of restful time in your life, can you find small, simple places where you can embrace rest? Can resting receive just as much focus as your to-do list? So what it's suggesting is that because we live these busy lives, we have these things we have to do, we have these obligations, you understand what I'm saying? And we're not able, we don't have the privilege, many of us don't have the privilege of just being able to hibernate and just rest and just shut down completely. What this is saying is make rest a focus. Find the time, small moments when you can just rest. When you can just sit everything else aside and you can just rest. And it's going to explain why. Because your spirit is so tired. It's been a long, hard year. You've been through a lot. You've worked hard. You've stretched and grown in so many ways. Whether you can see this growth or not doesn't really matter at this point. Simply living on earth through the past year, you have grown. And you are tired. It's so important that you rest right now to rejuvenate your weary spirit for the new year ahead. So you need to use this time when it looks like everything is dead, when it looks like nothing is happening. Why? Because everything that's being birthed is in the dark. I just did a video where I was talking about the darkness on the other side of the veil, and it's like that baby in that womb shifting and moving and positioning itself to be born out of the darkness into the light. So at this time right now, a lot of us are in the dark. We don't really see a whole lot happening. We know we've been working. We know we've been manifesting. We know we've been doing our shadow work. We know we've been working on ourselves. We know we've been working on vibrating high and trying to stay as high vibrational as we possibly can. But we don't see a whole lot happening. And the reason why is because the work is being done in the dark. In the wintertime, under the blanket of all that snow and all that frost and all that cold, deep down in the earth, The plants and the trees and all of that kind of stuff. Now, most of the animals are actually resting. But the plants and the trees and all of that kind of stuff, there's a whole lot of work going on down there in the deep, in the dark, that we can't see. And actually, the snow and the frost and all of that cover it and provide a blanket over it so it can do what it needs to do. So what this is suggesting is, because we've been working all year, we worked as soon as the sun come up, as soon as it started getting warm. We've been out doing the work. And we've been doing the internal work as well as some of the external work. We've been sowing seeds and all of that. Well, now it's time, because everything is in the dark. Everything is in the deep, in the dark womb of the mother, or in that birthing place in the darkness of the womb. We need to just rest. We need to chill out a little bit. We need to relax a little bit. We need to find those moments when we can just chill. We need to find those moments when we can just relax. Now, don't get me wrong, we coming to it. Now, this is the beautiful part, and I'm just going to read this part right here, and then I'm going to move on. Winter is the chrysalis stage in your personal evolution. Winter is the chrysalis stage in the evolution of the butterfly. It's the time when the caterpillar is wrapped up quietly in the dark of her cocoon. To the outside world, it doesn't look like anything is happening. And this is one of the most challenging things about embracing rest. To the outside world, it doesn't look like anything is happening. Our brains, and that's that ego, that conscious mind, that ego telling us, okay, you're not doing anything. You're just wasting time. You're just sitting here. You're being lazy. You're not doing anything. So you have to quiet that ego. You have to quiet that conscious mind and understand that you're being still and you're being quiet and you're resting, because it is something happening, but it's happening in the dark. It's happening in a place where people can't see. But actually, deep in the dark, a quiet transformation is happening. The caterpillar is evolving into a magnificent butterfly. This is the same transformation your spirit and all of nature is undergoing this season. To the outside world, life is still and quiet. There's no movement. Looks like nothing is happening. You don't see anything meaningful happening. But in the darkness, hidden deep inside, a powerful transformation is occurring. You are evolving into a whole new place in your life. All the experiences and lessons learned over the past year are being integrated into your spirit and into your life, and you are evolving because of it. Your only work right now is to be like the caterpillar. You don't have to do anything. Just wrap yourself up, all snug in your cocoon, and rest. Chill out. Relax. Right? Now, that's all I have on this article. There's more to it, but I'll leave it down in the description box and you can finish reading, because I think it's a beautiful article talking about the winter solstice, talking about the energy that comes, and talking about how you make yourself, you get access to that energy at this time by resting, by just chilling out, by trusting the process, wrapping yourself up in that trust, and knowing that you've done the work. You did what you needed to do all year long. Now it's time for you to rest, because it's some things happening in the dark that nobody can see. Right? Okay, now we're going to move on, because we're getting there. Now we're going to get down to breaking down and killing the lie. We're going to start it right here. We ain't going to get rid of all of it, but we're going to start it right here with this article. This article is coming from medium.com. Birthing the sun, birthing the sun, sun, S-O-N, of winter solstice, birthing light and hope. Now, I'm not going to read all of this either. I'm just going to read a little bit of this to add to what we've already established. History and stories of winter solstice. The solstice is the rebirth of the sun and the rebirth of the mother's sun. On the solstice, the sun returns and the days become longer and warmer from this day forward. It is also the day that birth of the sun god is celebrated. The solstice has been an important marker in the landscape across time. Hundreds of megalithic sites around the world are constructed to honor this exact moment in time, right? And these structures, all of these festivals, all of the celebrations and all of this stuff predates the birth of Jesus by thousands and thousands of years, right? Darkness is celebrated before the birth of the sun. In the old times, people kept fires burning through the longest night and would feast as winter set in. They would remain with the goddess. They're talking about the goddess, the mother who was going to birth the sun, who was going to rebirth the sun. As she labored through the darkest night and sit in stillness until that moment of the birthing dawn, as the sun, S-U-N/sun, returned to the landscape once more. In the northern hemisphere, midwinter falls on the Christian calendar date of Christmas. However, the returning light and birth of the divine sun, S-O-N, at midwinter has been honored well before Christianity was ever practiced. The Celts honored the sun god at this time. Other gods, Dionysus, Attis, Mithras, and Baal, to name a few, were all gods born into the world at the point of midwinter. Evergreen wreaths symbolizing the wheel of the year are placed on the doorways. I often start a wreath of Samhain, the Celtic New Year, and thread herbs and ribbons from each festival into the wreath as the year goes on, then burn it the following Samhain. So it talks about all of these celebrations, all of these different pagan gods, all of these different goddesses and all of that. And the word pagan didn't come out until the church got involved, until organized religion got involved. That's when they started using this word pagan, right? But these were just festivals and rituals and traditions that people did because they believed in nature and they believed in the as above so below. What was going on in the universe and the cosmic realm was also going on down here in on earth in nature, right? So let me see if there's one more thing I want to read here. As Starhawk so beautifully stated, each year the Great Mother labors through the long night to give birth again to the new year, to hope and light. This year the darkness has been intense. The bright hopes of last year are worn and tattered from obstructions and betrayals and compromise. Our personal health and the health of all the life support systems of the planet hang in balance. And how can we tell whether we've inched forwards or being sucked back into deals and appeasements worse than what we went before? Last year we hoped for an end to war. This year we see war escalate. Last year we chose a road of change. This year it looks only too much like the same old road we were on before. But the message of solstice is this: hope does not come once into the world and fulfill itself. Hope and life must constantly be reborn over and over again. They wax and wane and must be renewed. That renewal, that birthing, requires labor. Labor means work, commitment, perseverance through that time when it seems you just can't push anymore. Okay, so for those of us, and this is many of us, who have been through quite a bit this year. We've been through quite a bit of hard times. We've seen some obstacles. We've faced some challenges. That's labor. That was your labor. You understand what I'm saying? That was your labor. Why? Because you had to keep pushing. Even though it looked like wasn't nothing going to come, even though it looked like this baby ain't never gonna be born or whatever. You had to keep pushing. You had to go through your labor pains. Okay, well now that baby is shifting and has shifted and has positioned itself to be born into this natural world, and you can rest a little bit. You can take a few deep breaths and you can rest. You can relax a little bit, right? The cervix dilates slowly, pain by pain. The child begins to emerge, is drawn back, pushed forward another increment. We are the laboring mother. We are the spark of light. New possibilities kick and squirm within us. No, it's not easy to bring them forth, but we are strong and we are made for this work. Bear down, breathe, push. This morning the sun rises. Each day a new world is born. Right? And on this site she even lists herbs and symbols and all of that of the winter solstice and things that she uses and all of this kind of stuff in the celebration of the winter solstice. Right? Again, what you're celebrating during the winter solstice is the life, the death, and the rebirth of the sun. Right? That's what the winter solstice is all about. The life, the death, and the rebirth of the sun. S-U-N. Right? Okay, now let's go even deeper. And when we go here is where we're going to start breaking some stuff down. And we're going to start killing this lie. And this comes from Notcliffe. Notcliffe.wordpress.com. So this is somebody's blog, right? December 22nd through 25th, the death and birth of the unconquered son. Sol Invictus, the unconquered son. The sun will die at midnight on December 21st, but don't panic, it will rebirth on midnight December 25th, right? So that's a 3-day period you have right there. From basically December the 22nd to December the 25th. It's a 3-day period, right? And during that time, it's called the winter solstice. Sun stood still and is considered the shortest day in the year in terms of hours of sunlight. It is a 3-day period when the hours of daylight are at its shortest and the hours of night, darkness, are at its longest. Noticeably, the sun progressively sets earlier each evening after June 22nd. That's the summer solstice. And nightfall comes the earliest on December the 21st. Hence, daylight saving time put our clock 1 hour back to make up for the shortest hours of daylight. So this is a 3-day period, right? Now, I want you to hear and just listen to the references about winter solstice and about the birth and the death and all of that of Jesus. Now let's just keep going. Worshiping the sun. Well, our ancestors did just that more than 9,000 years ago, and it is still being done today. The ancients selected December 21st, the winter solstice, as the ideal time to invoke the sun. Maybe if you were living in the North Pole and had long, dark, harsh winters to deal with, you might want to invoke the sun too. And this article is actually written by a Christian. Who was at least telling the truth about this. In the solar excuse me, y'all. In the solar myth, the death of the old sun, S-U-N, occurs as the length of daylight decreases and becomes its lowest at the winter solstice, which begins on the midnight of December the 21st, early morning, December the 22nd. Right? And ends on midnight December 24th, early morning December 25th. Right? So it's December 25th when they say the new sun is actually born. The morning of December 25th is when the new sun is actually born. It's actually reborn, right? The sun stopped moving south on December 22nd. It is then at its lowest point in the northern hemisphere. residing in the vicinity of the Southern Cross. It stays at this lowest point for 3 days, December the 23rd, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, appearing to not move south or north, and was considered dead. Why? Because it's not moving. For 3 days, it does not move. And it was considered by the ancients to be dead. How long was Jesus supposedly in the tomb? For 3 days. How long was he dead and buried? For 3 days. It returned to life at midnight on December 24th, early morning December 25th, when it begins its northern journey again and the hours of sunlight start to lengthen. Therefore, the ancients said that the sun, S-U-N, was born on December 25th. As a result, mistletoe, holly, wreaths, cakes, gifts, greeting cards, and feasts were done in honor Sol or Mithra or Saturnalia, as the case may be. Whatever culture, whatever name they gave to the sun god, to the rising, rebirthing sun, right? Interestingly, as December 24, Sirius, on December 24, Sirius, that's the star Sirius, star in the eastern and brightest star in the night sky, aligns with the 3 brightest Orion belt stars called the 3 Kings. Remember those 3 kings that came from the east bearing gifts for Jesus when he was born? And they found him because they followed this brightest star in the sky? Well, this is the star that they're talking about. Sirius is the main star, and it aligns with the 3 brightest stars on Orion's belt called the 3 Kings. Alnitak, Alninum, and Mintakop. I can't pronounce them, you know. And on December 25th, these all point to the location where the sun will rise on Earth that day. On Earth, December the 25th. So on so-called Christmas Eve, December the 24th, these 4 stars align, right? And they point to the location where the sun will rise again on Earth on the morning of December the 25th. In essence, the 3 kings follow the star in the east to find the sunrise, birth of the sun, S-U-N. Solar deities and sun worship can be found throughout most of recorded history in various forms, including the Egyptian Ra, Mithra in Persia, Apollo, the Romans, Isis, the Hindu, Surah, the Japanese, Amaterasu, the Germanic Sol, and the Aztec Tonatiuh, and controversially more recent, Jesus in Christianity. December 25th, birthday of the sun, S-U-N, or sun, S-O-N. And they say that with a question mark. So are you already seeing the illusion? Are you already seeing the lie? Are you already seeing how the birth of Jesus was just taken from the winter solstice and all of that, and it was added to Christianity? As a Baptist, I grew up with the belief that December the 25th is the birth date of Jesus Christ. And as such, we worship and acknowledge it as Christmas. Indeed, Christmas is big, very big. Too big and too commercial, actually. The entire island of Jamaica comes to a virtual standstill. Schools and colleges are closed. Businesses shut down to give their employees time off. Many families plan trips and get-togethers. Church attendance increases, and gifts are given by even those who were Scrooge all year long. Maybe you recall the Christmas carol that even erroneously say long time ago in Bethlehem. So the Holy Bible said Mary's boy child Jesus Christ was born on Christmas Day. However, recall all these activities were already being done in Rome, Babylon, Persia, Greece, and Egypt to acknowledge and worship the birthday of Sol Invicta, the unconquered son. So even he's telling you all of these activities of giving gifts and celebrating and the Yuletide and using Christmas trees and pine and wreath and holly and mistletoe and all of this stuff was going on thousands of years before Christianity was even formed. Listen, up to 4,000 years before Jesus Christ was born. It then begs the question, whose birthday are we celebrating on December the 25th? Does Jesus the Son, S-O-N, share the birthday with the Son, S-U-N? When was Christ born? Late September? He's asking this question. There is no definitive proof of Jesus' birth date, but there are clues about when he was or wasn't born. First, we know that shepherds were in the fields. Now, if you listen to the story of his birth in Luke, in the New Testament, it gives you clues as to the time of year, right? First, we know that shepherds were in the fields at night watching their flocks at the time of Jesus' birth. According to Celebrations, the complete book of American holidays, Luke's account suggests that Jesus may have been born in summer or early fall, since December is cold and rainy in Judea. It is likely the shepherds would have sought shelter for their flocks at night, and they would not have been out under the open sun. Under the open sky. Right? Second, Jesus' parents came to Bethlehem to register in a Roman census. That's how he ended up being born in Bethlehem, is because they called for everybody to go back to their original place of birth so that they could do this census. Second, Jesus' parents came to Bethlehem to register in the Roman census. Such censuses were not taken in winter, when temperatures often dropped below freezing and roads were in poor condition and would be self-defeating. We're talking about dirt roads. All those Roman soldiers and all of that moving around and everything that they would have had to do to get those people there for this census, they would not have done that in the wintertime. Also, the conception and birth of John the Baptist gives an idea, since Elizabeth, John the Baptist's mother, was in her 6th month of pregnancy when Jesus was conceived. From this we can determine that the approximate time of year Jesus was born if we know when John was born. John's father, Zacharias, was a priest serving in the Jerusalem temple during the course of Abijah. Historical calculations indicate this course of service corresponded to June 13th through June 19th in that year. And he lists his source and everything, right? It was during this time of temple service that Zachariah learned that he and his wife Elizabeth would have a child. After he completed his service and traveled home, Elizabeth conceived, assuming John's conception took place near the end of June. Adding 9 months brings us to the end of March as the most likely time of John's birth. Adding another 6 months, the difference in ages between John and Jesus brings us to the end of September as the likely time of Jesus' birth. How did the birth of the Son, S-U-N, change to the birth of the Son, S-O-N? According to scriptures, Jesus Christ was whipped, spat upon, publicly dishonored, and then killed by the church. Caiaphas, the high priest, and the state, Pilate, the Roman governor. Well, actually, to be honest, Pilate didn't have anything to do with it. Pilate washed his hands of it. He said he was washing his hands of it. He was not going to sentence this man to die. Because his wife came to him and told him she had a dream and that he didn't need to mess with that man. Right? I'm just telling you the story according to scripture. What Pilate did was he placed Jesus before the people of Judea before the house of Israel. And he told them, you decide, who do you want to live, Jesus or Barabbas? And they chose Barabbas, therefore sentencing Jesus to death. Okay? Anyway, after Jesus' death, his followers had to go underground, as they too were meeting the same or worse fate than Christ. These followers of Christ, not Christians, as Christianity wasn't even started yet, were stripped and flogged with whips, stoned to death, and persecuted. Yet, despite the persecution, the followers of Jesus went underground and their churches started to flourish and soon became a major concern to the Roman government. They were blamed for spreading mischief that Jesus Christ was King and Lord and was crucified to save our lives. Followers of Christ were also accused of destabilizing the economy and threatening civil war. Right? Listen to this. To stop the possibility of civil war and at the same time keep the existing pagan cult worships, Constantine, so he wanted to keep the pagan worships intact. All the pagan traditions, all the Roman gods, all the Roman pagan traditions and worship and all of that, he wanted to keep all of that intact. But he also wanted to stop the possibility of civil war, and he wanted to control the masses through this new religion that they called Christianity. Right? Now just listen. To stop the possibility of civil war and at the same time keep the existing pagan occult worships, Constantine in AD 236 at the Council of Nicaea married Christ-like sentiments, name and life story with that of Rome's mysticism and called it Christianity. So all he did was brought together certain aspects and the name and certain life stories about Jesus and the pagan traditions, the mysticism. He brought those two things together, mixed them up, and called it Christianity. And I do believe I read somewhere that all the saints that you see now at the Vatican, St. Paul, Saint Thomas, all of these statues at the Vatican that are supposed to represent the saints and the disciples and all of that. No. They were Roman gods. And all they did was rename them. All they did was rename them. That's it. This new Christianity became the official religion of Rome, and the sun, S-U-N, was replaced by the sun, O-S-N, with Isis and Osiris, and with Isis and Osiris becoming Mary and Jesus, right? Because they had the pagans, they in Rome, they had Isis and Osiris. In Egypt, it's what was it? I can't remember. Haru, and what is her name? Hold on, let me find it because I got to get it right. Haru. What was his mama's name? What was her name? The goddess. Okay, here it is. I got to get it right because they call him Horus. They call him Haru. Isis, because Osiris is the father. So Isis would be the mother. Bastet. They're different names. But they had these pictures of Haru and his mother, and all they did was change the names from Haru and the mother goddess to Mary and Jesus. That's all they did. Right? December the 25th was then decreed as Jesus' birthday, with the spring equinox full moon in March, April designated as his death day. Right? So not only did they give him a pagan birthday, they also gave him a pagan death day. Right? In short, today's Christianity is an unholy marriage of Roman idolatry and Christ sentiments designed by Constantine to maintain religious and political, if not economic, order and harmony in the empire. Now, hold on. There's something else in here that I want to read, because I'm almost finished with this, because you can finish reading the rest of it. Keep the sun, S-O-N, out of the sun, S-U-N. Sol Invictus, unconquered sun, is a very important star in our solar system without a doubt. As the main source of energy, we can understand the need to recognize it and maybe even glorify its daily presence in our lives. Many people deliberately and some unwittingly worship and glorify the sun, S-U-N, between December 21st and December 25th to show appreciation. Unfortunately, Jehovah is a very jealous God and considered sun worship as an abomination 4,000 years prior to the birth of Jesus. Now, that's what he said. That's not what we said. But that's all the reading that I want to do on this. So, do you see how we have been fed this lie, this illusion about December the 25th, about Christ's birth, and how it was used by the church for this man-made religion, this man-made religion that is just a mix of what people said about Jesus and certain personality traits and his life story, and a mix of what they call pagan worship and worshiping idols and worshiping goddesses and all of that. And they mixed those two together and came up with this brand new religion that they have used to control the masses, to control the world. In different areas of the world, it has been used to control the populace. That's why the Vatican is the richest. The Roman Catholic Church is richer than anything and anybody. And because we've been fed this lie, we've been programmed to believe this lie, you miss the benefits of this time of the year. You miss what's really going on. You miss the fact that there is a celestial cosmic event taking place. And because of that, there's this energy portal that opens up. And this energy portal represents shedding and getting rid of and allowing all of that old energy and all of those old things in your life and inside of you that no longer serve you, allowing those things to die, allowing yourself to shed those things so you can go through this period of rest, and then you can be reborn. You can be reborn to brand new things. You can allow brand new things to enter into your life. You can allow brand new energies to enter into your space. You can allow all these new things to enter in because you allow those other old things to die. Just like the old sun has to die, and it has to stay dead or stay still. That's that resting period that she was talking about in the other article. For 3 days it just rests. It does not move. That's that resting period that she was talking about. And then on the morning of that 4th day, it's reborn. It starts moving again. You understand what I'm saying? It starts moving. It starts growing. It starts affecting nature. It starts affecting the cosmos. All of that. But if you believe in this lie, and you thinking that period of time is about the birth of Jesus, you're missing out on what the universe is really offering you during that time. You're missing out on this portal of brand new energy that's coming in. You understand what I'm saying? And what are most of us doing during this so-called season? On the 21st, the 22nd, the 23rd, the 24th, what are most of us doing? Hustling and bustling and busy, constantly trying to buy stuff. And we all caught up in the hustle and bustle of the season and all of that, running here and running there and doing this and doing that. Why? When we should be resting. When we should be doing exactly what the sun is doing. Shedding all of that old stuff, shedding all of that old energy, shedding those old relationships, shedding those old mindsets and old beliefs and old feelings that don't serve you anymore. Shedding all of that stuff that you found in your shadow when you did your shadow work. Allowing all that stuff to leave you and die. While you just getting somewhere and being still and just resting, just chilling out, just relaxing. So that on December the 25th, you can start rising again. You can rise brand new, reborn, with new fresh energy. Open to all the possibilities of the universe. Open to all the possibilities that are available to you in this new cycle. But you can't do that because you caught up in the lie. You caught up in the illusion of what this season really means. And it does not mean that at all. And you got a religious person here telling you. This is a Christian telling you, no. It's not the birth of Jesus. There is no recorded history on his birth. There are signs. You understand what I'm saying? There are markers that have been left so that we can kind of assume when he was born, but he definitely was not born on December the 25th. That's the reason why they lied to you. That's the reason why they have kept you programmed into believing that it meant one thing when actually it meant something else. Because as long as you were believing the lie, you couldn't tap into the brand new energy that was available to you. You couldn't get somewhere and be still and just rest and allow the darkness to do what the darkness is doing, so that on December the 25th you could rise and start giving birth to new things, giving birth to new ideas, giving birth to new relationships, giving birth to new opportunities, giving birth to all these brand new possibilities. But because we all were programmed to believe the lie, look how many times we have missed out on this energetic portal that was opening up to us. So yes, it's okay for you to have a Christmas tree as long as you understand that a Christmas tree is a part of the celebration of this rebirth. It's part of the celebration of this newness, this new cycle of life that's beginning. It's okay for you to give gifts as long as you understand that that's just a part of celebrating what's taking place in the cosmos, what's taking place in the universe, and what's also taking place down here in the earth. So it's okay for you to have these celebrations and these get-togethers, you understand what I'm saying, and to come together with family and to give gifts and all of that. All of that is just fine as long as you understand the real reason all of that's happening, because all of that was happening thousands of years before Christianity was even formed. 4,000 or 5,000 years before Jesus was ever even mentioned. Because that's how the ancients, that's how they celebrated the sun being reborn. That's how they celebrated this new cycle of life. Festivals, feasting, decorating with pine cones and with holly and mistletoe and all of that kind of stuff. Giving gifts. Where do you think they got it from to say that when the three kings found Jesus, they gave him gifts? Frankincense, myrrh, and gold. So tap into that. Tap into it, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it's either myrrh or frankincense. One of them is the most expensive herb, or it was the most expensive herb at that time. But we find out that those three kings were actually 3 stars on Orion's belt, the 3 brightest stars on Orion's belt. So the cosmos wants to give you gifts. The cosmos wants to bring you gifts, good gifts. But you can't really receive the gifts that the cosmos, that the universe, that source wants to bring you, because you stuck over here in this lie and this illusion. So break out of it. Celebrate Christmas, but celebrate Christmas for what it really is. Celebrate Christmas for the awesome, cosmic, universal event that it is. And partake of the energies and the gifts that the universe is trying to give you during this time. So that you can receive those new energies and you can receive all this newness that's coming to you. If you have been willing to shed the old, let go of the old, go through that resting period, and then experience rebirth the same way the sun experiences rebirth. So like I said, I'll leave the link to these 3 particular articles down in the description box. So like I said, you can read them in their fullness, or you can go and you can do your own research and you can read some of your own articles and read some of your own information about this. But I just thought it was very important, first of all, to kill the lie. It's time to kill the lie. It's time for the truth to be exposed on every level. It's time to kill the lie. And to give everybody an opportunity to actually partake in it this year. To actually be prepared and be ready for it this year. And understand what it really means so that you can really benefit from it. Instead of waking up on December the 26th or December the 27th in debt, broke, you ain't got no money because you done spent all your money running around buying into this lie. You ain't got no energy because you done wore yourself out, done drained yourself running here and there and everywhere, trying to participate in all this stuff that's going on that's a part of the lie. This way, you can be rejuvenated. You can be re-energized. You can wake up on Christmas morning with a sense of newness, with a sense of all the new possibilities and all the new things that can happen in the coming year. So that's the reason why I thought it was real important to get this done and get this out to you so that you'd be ready for December the 21st, 22nd, when this whole process starts, because it's a 3-day process. And you have to understand that it's that 3-day process that they also took and turned it into Jesus' death. How he died and he was dead for 3 days, and then on the 3rd day he rose again. All of that came from this right here, from winter solstice. So that's all I got for you guys. Like I said, all the information will be down in the description box. Anything that you need, if you want to hear anything about, if you want to go over there and listen to some of the podcasts, that link will be in the description box. Of course, if you want to support the channel in any kind of way, the Cash App and the PayPal and all that is in the description box. Please like this video. Please share this video. Please have these conversations. It's time for us to sit down, especially those of us in the black community. It's time for us to sit down and break these lies. It's time for us to get free from these lies, so that we can start operating within the truth. Because there's power in truth. That's where the real power is, in the truth. And we need to stop raising our children to believe these lies. And get them in a position where they can operate in power. And where they can get the full benefit from this time of the year. Alright? Alright, that's all I got for you guys. I will see you guys later. Take care of yourselves. Love yourselves. Take care of each other. Love each other. And I'll talk to you guys later.